This is incredibly important conversation. We're in a paradigm shift in the world right now, especially in America, where you have two worldviews competing with each other in the same household. Wow. So it used to be that paradigm shifts would take 2 to 3 generations to come into place. But right now we're living in a paradigm shift where literally the elder generation, the parents of one generation, have an absolutely different worldview than those who they are raising. And so it creates this rift, and a lot of it is built on misunderstanding.
So how can seniors overcome this and actually impact the next generation?
Yeah, I think it starts by listening and engaging with the next generation. So for many, they either write them off. They're weird, strange, crazy. They have weird views, all the things that our parents thought about us when we were growing up, right? So we kind of struggle with that aspect. And there's also an intimidation factor. We're intimidated by them. In some ways, they speak a different language, right? And so we're intimidated by those things. But what would be great is if seniors would engage and not be afraid. One of the greatest ways to engage is to ask questions. Just ask them what they feel, what they think. You don't have to agree or disagree, but begin that engagement and get a dialogue going, not telling them what to change or what to do different, but just genuinely listening to them. And a favorite question that I like to ask as they begin to talk about their philosophies, because most of them are built on theory. They haven't tried any of them out yet. They just believe them. And I would say, so how does that work out for you? How is that working in your generation? Tell me a little bit about how that's working for you. And it's interesting, the responses that you'll get from that. It's a great way to engage, get them at least feeling safe to talk to you about the things that are happening in their lives. The truth is that young people today are facing things at such a rapid rate that we as an older generation are not able to comprehend the speed at which they're getting this information and being challenged in these ways. So they need people like us who can stand by and listen to them and know that they're cared for and try to help them feel safe.
Wow. Talk about gratitude now. I know that we live in a wonderful country. Mm-hmm. We have things that other people dream of, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that this attitude of gratitude can only be passed down from one generation to the other. So how can seniors actually impact the next generation by passing down gratitude? How can they do that?
Sure. Well, I think when it comes to, in this case, what we're talking about is leadership, right? How do we lead in that? And all true leadership is not by what you say, but what you do. So I think in many ways it's exemplifying that. And within the generational gap, recognizing the need to example that. I think right now we're in a wonderful opportunity. We're in the 250th anniversary of America. What an opportunity for us to exemplify what does that gratitude look like, and how are we showing gratitude to the generations prior to us that are the shoulders we're standing on. I think it's important that we talk about not just our past, but the shoulders that we're standing on and the generations that came before us, to say we're here because of what they did and how they gave their lives, and that should mean something to us. I think one of the greatest things we could do is say, what are we grateful for? And how can we example that to the next generation?
For you as a pastor, what are you most grateful for when it comes to the United States?
Oh, wow. Well, we live in a nation that was built on Christian principle that allows us to engage in our Christianity, and especially with government. You know, in Scripture, we have, the primary governments. There was personal government, family government, church government, and then what we would call civil government. And here in America, we have the freedom to function in all of those areas. So that's a tremendous, value that we have here. It saddens me to see so few Christians taking advantage of what God has given us. It's a wonderful gift, I would say, that we have here in America, that we need to truly steward that gift and be good stewards of it, or we'll lose it. That's one thing that I'm tremendously grateful for here in our country.
What about someone who impacted you the most? Can you share a story of a senior an elder, someone who
Sure.
impacted you the most in your life?
There's been many, but one that impacted me the most, thinking about kind of my teenage, early 20s, that kind of time frame, I can think of one particular gentleman who, and I will say the biggest reason is because he believed in me. He
Wow.
didn't give up on me. He didn't look at me as weird or strange, and he didn't always correct me, but he believed in me, and I felt like there was so little of that in my life. And so I really resonated with him because he looked at me and didn't look down on me, or I wasn't a pest or a bother to him, but he looked at me and said, you're going to do something with your life, and in many ways even expressed, I'm grateful I get to be a part of that, which I thought was super cool, coming from somebody that I looked up to. And really, in many ways in my life, I was not a very popular person in my growing up days. So having somebody who believed in me really meant a lot. And I see that even today. The youth of our day are craving that acceptance and to be believed in.
Yes.
And I think that's why they gravitate many to some of these pretty weird things, because it gets attention.
Give them attention.
That was very impactful for me.
What words of advice do you have for the young generation, for young people? Why should they actually seek a senior, seek someone who's older to listen to?
Yeah.
Why should they do that?
Yeah, there's great wins in that as well. From more of a maybe selfish perspective, there is so much wisdom that you don't have that experience. You just don't have that. You haven't experienced those things in life. And to draw from those years of wisdom, because all of us went into our 20s and 30s with a lot of theory. I had a lot of theory about raising children until I had them. It's kind of like Mike Tyson Theology. Everybody has a plan until you're punched in the mouth, right? So it was like I had an idea of what it was going to be like to be a parent. But wisdom comes through walking through those stages in life and having your theories tested and finding out what stands true. And that's something that no matter what generation you're living in, the applications may be different. Obviously, seniors today didn't grow up with AI. There are many young people today that wouldn't know what life was like without a screen. But the seniors of our day can't, for the life of them, understand why we need these screens, because they grew up without all these things. But though the application is different, the wisdom remains the same. People are people, humans are humans, and history repeats itself. And so there's great, great value in them. Not to mention the fact you will absolutely make their day by sitting there and being a listener to an elder person. You will absolutely make their day. And what does that give you? What encouragement does that bring to you that you are making a difference in someone else's life as well? It is a two-way street, and it's very much a win-win.
Yeah, wow, beautiful. Very well put. One more question, if I may. Seniors are going through a lot of struggles. Every season of life comes with its own difficulties, and people, as they get older, we know that they have different health and other problems that they deal with. And many of them give up. They lose a spouse, they give up, they even maybe become depressed, or they see no hope, no purpose anymore. What words of encouragement do you have for seniors who feel like there's no longer a place for, there's no purpose? What do you have to say to them?
Yeah, that concept of life has passed you by. I think, again, if you feel like you have no purpose, one of the most important things to do is to find one, of course. But that can be very, very difficult when you feel like your useful life is kind of gone by. And this, again, I think is where it's so important that the elder generation looks to the younger. Here's what we don't realize. We're in the same boat. We're just trying to row in different directions. The reality is, just as much as young people, especially in their 20s, you think about from 18 to 29, what happens in life in that period of time? I mean, people they're going from learner to probably finding a spouse, to having children, to developing a career. There's so much going on in that decade of life, and there's a lot of change, right? At the same time, you have seniors who have kind of lived that life through, and now all of a sudden they're experiencing change in a different way that they just didn't prepare themselves for. And the reality is the truth is that here is another generation, though the change is different, they're experiencing the overwhelming sense of life is very difficult for me to manage. And the beauty of that is here's two groups that could really be a benefit to one another. In fact, I would love to see young people helping these older people get on online platforms and just talk about what it's like to be an elder person and the type of change that goes on in their lives. I think young people would tune into that because they don't, the thing is they don't want to talk to their grandparents because they don't understand them. But if they got to watch a YouTube video or a TikTok about how to understand them a little bit more, they feel more open to answer it's an amazing thing because that's a medium that they get their information from. So it's a great opportunity even for elder people to find purpose in sharing that information in a very non-threatening platform. And young people could actually help them do that, and it becomes very beneficial to the younger generation as well. So I think there's just a lot of wins there that we're passing up on because we believe somebody has taught us that we're too different from each other. And I don't think that's true.
But we need each other, and seniors are actually irreplaceable. So
absolutely,
we want them very much involved in our lives and the lives of our kids, our grandkids, and they're very much needed in our society.
Absolutely, we need them.
And as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States, I think it's more important now that we challenge seniors to speak up, to share why they're grateful for this nation and investing in someone's life. Life goes by very fast, right? So all these challenges that we have would become nothing if we simply stayed focused on serving others, right?
Yeah.
Can you share some examples of how seniors in your church are ministering or trying to reach the young generation?
Sure. So we function by small group in our church as one of the ways that we develop engagement with people in general. And so we do have some small groups that are designed specifically for this purpose to be intentional about making these connections. And they typically revolve around, different aspects. Like we have one that is all about government stewardship.
Oh, wow.
And so you have a younger generation who has interest in that, and you have an older generation who has so much wisdom in it. And in many ways, there's often a lot of things that they're learning together, or they're each bringing strategies, between the wisdom of one and the strategies of another, bringing these things together. And there's a lot of collaboration that happens in that. And so it's a wonderful thing. So looking for ways and opportunities, again, we use the small group way to do that, to find opportunities for collaboration between the two age groups, or I shouldn't even say two, it's really multiple age groups that are involved in that. And so the more, and I understand young people need a space where they can live life with people like them. Everybody needs that. We need a peer group that we're living life with. But then from that, as our peer group, we need to draw upon other people from other spheres of life and how they can contribute to ours and how we can contribute to theirs. And so it's very valuable. We teach our young people you need to have 3 types of relationships in life: those that you aspire to be like, those that you look up to, those that are on your level walking life through with, and those that you're lifting up from the next generation.
Wow, how well.
And so if you kind of look at that and say, this is God's plan for my existence today, that I'm aspiring up, I'm pulling up, and I have a peer group that I'm walking life through with, I think it's a healthy way to live through life and not to become siloed in our own world.
Well, Pastor, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your insight. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a joy to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
God bless you.
Bless you.